played, just finished moments ago. Costa Rica defeated Mexico by the just finished moments ago. Costa Rica defeated Mexico by the score of 2-1. So Costa Rica will advance to the semifinals as the second place team. The USA will go as the first place team, and what they need to find out, and they won't know until tomorrow, is who they might be playing. They're all in blue. USA versus Puerto Rico. Big test for Alyssa Nair in goal. She's played in 4 previous games, all friendlies. This one counts in terms of the record. Match referee is Crystal Sobers from Trinidad and Tobago. Underway. Puerto Rico in white in their first tournament. It's been a rough one, conceding 15 goals in their last 2 games. Kept it fairly close, though, at halftime. We'll see how they go tonight. That's Fiol up the wing and out of play. USA will have this throw-in from the far side. It was intended for McCaffrey, too short. Puerto Rico trying to get it forward. Socrates is the player they'll be trying to find if they can here tonight. Krieger playing as a central defender instead of at right back. Pushed forward by Mewis. What's going to be the difference for Krieger tonight in that role, Kate?
Krieger is going to have to help organize more than she traditionally does as an outside back. The game has evolved so much, even in the past 9 months, and will continue to, that outside backs need to go forward and contribute into the attack, because so many teams will sit back against the United States. At center back, the difference is you're sitting there and you're watching the entire game in front of you.
U.S. on the attack. Look how many numbers get back for Puerto Rico. Pugh was the closest one to that ball. Instead, it's picked up on the wing, and Pagan lost it out. U.S. will have a throw-in. Hinkle. U.S. has used the same starting 11 first 2 games, same 3 subs. That's all changed tonight. Press off the bench the last 2 games. Trying to push it forward. That's cleared away. U.S. concerned about a lot of unforced errors that they had the other night.
Yeah, it's something that they've been working on since head coach Jill Ellis took over for Tom Sermani before the World Cup, and they got that number down. I don't know what the exact ones, but just the silly errors. We're not talking about the attempts that when they're trying to play the right ball, it's a little bit off. It's more just the ones that they just kick out of bounds for no reason. And they've gotten that down, but now they need to get back to it because they show that they can get a bit impatient against a team that's going to sit back like we're going to see tonight. Can they be a bit more precise in their passing and a bit more patient in picking out the right moment?
To the outside, Hinkle with that cross inside, and that's going to be cleared away. Good test for Hinkle. See how she does as a starter after coming off the bench the last couple of games. Left-footed player.
She was great in college. She had a good season with the Western New York team out of in the NWSL. They want to see what type of service she can get from the flanks.
Long throw from Emily Sonnet. Headed down. Lloyd was going for it. Pushed away from her. Tapped all the way back to Krieger. It's Krieger and Sonnet as the 2 central defenders for the USA this evening. Mewis inside the circle will leave it off for Sonnet. Carly Lloyd deeper tonight. She's playing much higher, closer to goal, first 2 games. But this is a chance to see what Press and Dunn can do as a tandem and up high.
The key to an Olympics, because it's got such a reduced roster compared to the World Cup that we just saw when the USA won and walked away with the trophy, is there's less numbers. You only have 18 players, 2 of which are goalies. It's critical for players to be able to play multiple positions during a tournament.
Press tried to square it. Dunn tried to settle it. Back off the foot of Press. Carly Lloyd, USA's captain, will send it across the way. Couldn't get that one forward. O'Hara tried to play it. McCaffrey was there, and the flag went up. With O'Hara playing right back instead of Krieger, they think that she's a bit more offensive-minded than Krieger in that spot.
I think what they're trying to do is find flank players that can tactically solve the problem by using combination play. Teams are so organized now in that back line. Right there, we just saw 6 defenders sitting across a back line. You can't beat them by going over the top. There's not enough space between that back line and that goalkeeper. So you got to go out wide. And if they're well organized, you got to use a little savvy, and not only with a little bit of individual brilliance and pace, but you got to combine with 1 and 2. And they want to evolve that on the right side of this field.
Bunkers are tough to beat. USA has faced more than their share of them, but the way Mexico bunkered the other night, that was as well organized a Mexico team as I've seen, and I've watched them play since '99.
Right, you're seeing the evolution of soccer. It's amazing. It's like the men's game with better coaches all around in all these developing countries, as well as fitness coaches. So a lot of teams can bunker, but can they bunker for 90 minutes? And that's what Mexico did. That's what Sweden did in the World Cup. And that's something the U.S. has to figure out how to break down. We saw how much they struggle with it, but it's not really their fault. Our culture does not, we're not exposed to that. It's run and gun in the United States, in college and club. The fastest is who gets selected for teams. So now it's just got to be a rethink and an exposure, and they'll get better.
Just had a look at Garabet Abadisian. He's the head coach of Puerto Rico. He helped Costa Rica qualify for the last World Cup, but then left that position. Ball cleared away by the U.S. Upfield for Dunn. She was subbed out at halftime in that game against Mexico. Down this left side, the talent of the 17-year-old Mallory Pugh. Inside for Dunn, getting free for the shot, and Dunn scores in the 6th minute. The USA is off and running.
We get to see the speed of Mallory Pugh set that up. The 17-year-old earning her first start. She debuted last month and got a goal. This is Mallory Pugh, 17 years old. A little step over, gets a defender leaning to her left, and that exposes a gap to exploit with their explosiveness. Look at that. And she picks her head up now. She doesn't want to go end line. She realizes the gap is in front of that defender, finds Crystal Dunn, and that is what Crystal Dunn does best. She separates herself from a defender, and this is the position she feels most comfortable at center forward. In the NWSL for the Washington team, this is how she won Player of the Year, because she can do that. So I'm not surprised that she's going to do that. She started this way, and I imagine she's going to have a pretty good night tonight.
2nd goal for her in this competition. 6 goals in the last 11 games for the speedy Crystal Dunn, who tried to track that down. She's another one of those players, too, that's very versatile. She's played as a right back. She's played wide in the midfield, and can also play up top. So there's no question, at least in my mind, probably not in yours either, that she's on the Olympic team, but does she start?
You know, I wouldn't give anyone really, ooh, look at that. The goalkeeper, her feet were frozen. She lost her footwork. Gustafson, Pugh plays it in. Look at the spin. It's a little bit behind Dunn, but she adjusts well. And the goalkeeper just a little bit too frozen. Gustafson not able to fully extend, but I don't think she'd be able to get to what she did. You know, I don't think anyone is a lock for this Olympic team, except for a couple key players, and those are your consistent starters that are kind of staying in the same spot, like your Lloyds, you know, like your Sauerbrunns and your Johnson. The key is it's all the other players around them. Who's going to work well together? And that's a tactical question. Who's going to be able to figure out how to break down defenses together?
18 is such a low roster number. They have 20 for this tournament. 18 at the Olympics, was 23 at the Women's World Cup. Not much possession, as we expected from Puerto Rico at the start. First half, they've been outscored just by a 4-0 count, 2-0 deficits in each of their first 2 games, but in the second half, outscored 11-0. As Kelly Johnson gets ready to put it back into play. Her 3rd straight start. Full 90s in the previous 2. Launching that in the box. Sokras was after it. Off the chest of O'Hara. Another one of those versatile players that could play different positions. Lloyd. Sonnet. Advancing for the USA in blue. Slowed down by Suarez. Krieger tried that long ball. Jill Ellis tonight, head coach of the U.S., looking for good habits and good decisions, even knowing that this game could get out of hand, and it could get out of hand early.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of control by the United States team. Is you know that you can beat a team probably athletically over time. But how about passing and moving? How about a third player combination and set good habits in motion so that when you play against teams that can match up to you physically and can stay with you fitness-wise, then you can take it to that next level. That is the next level that Jill Ellis is trying to see who on this field possesses moving forward. She just wants to see a glimpse of it because then she can work with it. And that's what these players are trying to prove tonight.
Her next opponent will be better. It will either be Trinidad and Tobago or Guyana. Those two teams meet tomorrow in Group B in Houston. Mallory Pugh on the turn. Pugh cutting and line. And that ball was out. Not afraid to take players on. Mallory Pugh.
The ball is fully over the line. But you're getting to see her separate. It's not just speed with her. It's not just push it past him and run. She sucks you in with a move or two, and then quickly, with her footwork, gets past people, and then gets her hips around to cross it.
Hinkle. Pugh has help. Played it back for Lloyd. 12th minute, USA leading 1-0 on a goal by Crystal Dunn in the 6th minute. Wide is McCaffrey. She'll try to find press inside. McCaffrey with another try. Ball is deflected out for a corner. With all the lineup changes, different targets now in this one.
Completely different targets. You're going to look for McCaffrey, who's good in there. Sonnet, who is excellent there. Mewis as well. And Lloyd. The question is, who's going to be that near post runner that near post run that Julie Johnston does? That's a target they like to find often.
Towards the middle, knotted down and caught the goalkeeper. Gustafson going the wrong way, but she did recover.
Again, they like to go to the near. It's just Mewis, hit off her own player. Mewis was the initial contact. But we're starting to see signs of Puerto Rico and a little bit vulnerable on man marking in the box. The goal from Crystal Dunn came from that. But Mallory Pugh just hit a cross and it was out of bounds. Someone was wide open to be on the end of that. So something to watch for as this game goes on as they're marking in the box.
Dunn for press. She fires it over the bar. Kristen Press nearly had the USA's second goal.
Well, she's playing a different role tonight. She can play as a lone forward or as the playmaker underneath the forward. A little give and go. That's good combination play between her and Crystal Dunn. She moves off the ball, gets her feet set to hit a one-time strike. And I think her plant foot was just a bit too far away from the ball, which means it's going to soar up a little bit higher than you intend it to.
Dunn, 1v2, gets free on the left. That cross inside, brought down. On the turn, it was Press. Lost one in for Lloyd, and that's going to be wide. But the ball was deflected out, so it's a USA corner.
Press tries to do a little chip, an in-swinger over to Lloyd. But Puerto Rico does a good job just getting a little something on it, deflect it, change the path of the ball. Gives up a corner kick, but allows enough time for them to get back and get organized.
Kelly O'Hara taking another one. Almost cleared away. Hinkle deflected it forward. McCaffrey, good burst there. She'll earn another USA corner. quick footwork from the Boston Breakers attacker.
You get to see her old days at forward right there, and her pace and her power that made her so successful in college.
Right towards the near post, grabbed and then fumbled by Gustafson. Is it going to be another corner? Nope, goal kick.
Well, Samantha Mewis again involved in the play. She's great in the air because she can read the fly of the ball, and she sticks with it. Just a bit unlucky. A whiff at first, but by that time Gustafson had enough time, the goalkeeper, to recover and cause Mewis to miss.
Gustafson sends this one long. Coming right back towards her. Back to her feet. She was able to move it away. Just cleared it to safety, though. Throw in U.S. O'Hara got it back from Mewis. Able to turn there. Done again. Oh, Press was sitting there in the seam. They couldn't find her. All alone for a good couple of seconds. Puerto Rico's ball on the throw-in. And that ball given away by Font. Hinkle will have a throw-in for the United States. Her first cap, 2015 in October against Brazil. It's during the victory tour. Mewis, 3 in the blue of the U.S. for O'Hara. McCaffrey finding a little bit of space, pokes it ahead. Dunn wants to make that quick turn, could not. Now a second try. She was held from behind. A deft touch there to keep her away from the ball.
McCaffrey is the one that sends it in. Dunn just has excellent balance to me. Do you ever notice that she'll turn and it may not go her favor, or sometimes her touch gets away from her, but she's always still involved because her body's positioned in a way perfectly that she can kind of be there for that second one. I'd like to see the U.S. use the flanks more. They're serving it a bit early. They're serving it right behind the front runner a little bit shallow of a ball. If they get end line, they'll buy enough time to allow their front runners to set up and get in better positions. A little bit's nerves, though. Some of these players are not used to this. I mean, this is a big moment for them. For some of them, this is their World Cup. They're starting for the national team. So I want to see who kind of calms down and reads the game, and that's what Jill Ellis wants. She wants people that are adaptable, that can read the game and play balls and play in a style that you're going to need in order to beat a Germany and a France come the Olympics.
The Lloyd pass ahead to Press. She finds the feet of Mallory Pugh, beats one defender, has another to beat, cuts between both, and then went down. She's going to get the penalty. And I do believe she did try to stay up. She had split the two defenders and wanted to keep going, but was brought down.
Selimar Pagan comes in. Is just the angle at which it wasn't intentional. I don't know if it's a little push in the back at first look or just getting the feet caught up, but Pugh goes down. That's a right call for a penalty, though.
Carly Lloyd scored off her own penalty kick miss on a save the other night from Santiago. Lloyd to strike for a 2-0 lead. Got it off the crossbar and in. She knows she was fortunate with that one. She knows. U.S. with a 2-0 lead.
Well, Pugh earns all of this. She splits in between two defenders. Oh, that's not a penalty kick at all. She tripped over her own feet. As she goes, Palomar does not touch her. Look, she trips over her own feet. But you know what? It took me 2 views to get that one right, and that referee's sitting right there and has to make an initial call. Yeah. And with so many bodies right there, it's not surprising that she called that.
So the U.S. has benefited now in 2 straight games on a bad call on a penalty. But I agree with you, watching it live, thought for sure she was tripped. So for Carly Lloyd, her 85th international goal, 22nd in her last 17 games, and she scored in every game this calendar year. Lloyd, FIFA's World Player of the Year. Fine Hinkle. 20th minute, USA with a 2-0 lead over Puerto Rico. Krieger drives it. He's trying to find Dunn. McCaffrey's after it. Stays in the field of play, and the U.S. will collect another. Mewis. Hinkle. Got it from Pugh. Couple of moves. Gains the end line. The cross. Gustafson spilled it. She's way out of goal. That net's empty. And now it's 3-0. Crystal Dunn has 2 goals.
Well, the left side, they're getting end line and creating problems because they get wide, stretch out this back line. A good move by Hinkle, separates herself from her defender. Gustafson unable to punch it out of danger. And the United States, again, gets a little bit lucky with playing the ball in the box to someone who's totally unmarked in Crystal Dunn. A good one-time shot that would have been saved if Gustafson would have been able to recover quick enough back to her goal line.
They had 2 players on the line as well, but Rivera couldn't clear it out. So the U.S. now with a 3-0 lead over Puerto Rico. Krieger on the ball. Lloyd. They'll bring it central. Press had the pass picked off. Mewis. Samantha Mewis up for a press. Stepping in, winning it. Now it's Suarez. Fields pass on the right. Pagan. Got it forward finally, but the offside flag goes up on Socaras. But that's the first time they got that far into U.S. territory.
Now Puerto Rico is looking to defend together and compact, but when they have the opportunity, they want Socaras to make slashing runs and for them to try to find it on a diagonal. That time she just timed it a little bit late and ran herself offsides before the ball was able to get there.
Carly Lloyd inside the circle, chased by Socaras. Hinkle. She'll try the long ball into the box. Press try to bring it down cleanly. Intercepted by Hinkle. She can have that left side all she wants, it looks like. Dunn squared it. Mewis. Got it wide right. Off McCaffrey.
That was good patience by Hinkle. She decided not to go end line, even though that's where the space was. Held it and changed the point. That's one thing the United States is trying to work on, is finding the width and reestablishing it.
Inside, Pugh left it for Dunn. Instead, Pagan trying to pull it back. Dunn relentless on it. Ball was still played forward, and there's Lloyd helping to win it, but it goes out. Belongs to Puerto Rico. First time they've been in this tournament. Attempted to qualify for the World Cup on 1 occasion, lost all 3 games, and headed for the same path here.
But this is actually a great achievement for them. They beat out, usually this is Haiti. So this is the first time, so they are proud, and they'll keep fighting in this game. It's just a matter of how effective it'll be.
Huge shot over the bar. As you know, it's all about the resources, right, and the money that gets behind the program. There's talent out there, for sure.
We get to see the ball played into the gap to Press, who isn't in a great position, but so she decides to pass it back to the person facing the goal. Pugh, with a little bit of sophistication, you can see her trying to put a little bend on the ball. Go far post, but just got a little bit underneath it.
Carly Gustafson will put it back into play. plays at Winthrop University. She's a junior there, transfer from NC State. All the way back, it's Hinkle for the U.S. 25th minute, a 3-0 USA lead. Dunn, who has 2 goals, finds Pugh. Hinkle for Lloyd. It's pushed forward by O'Hara and now to Mewis, who lost it there. Again, the look was for Socaras, but she's up there by herself. Mewis turning for Lloyd inside the circle. U.S. advancing. They try to find the feet of Mallory Pugh, but it goes out. In their first game against Costa Rica, the U.S. had a 3-0 lead, and Jill Ellis, the U.S. coach, felt that they took their foot off the pedal a little bit in that game. They don't want to do that here. It's a different opponent, but they want to still make sure they have those good habits.
Right. It's not so much that they weren't trying hard. It was just that urgency and the intent behind their passes and just the responsibility to stick to the game plan. And it's hard to keep that mental focus when you're dominating a game like that.
Sweet move by Dunn, but then the shot went high and wide.
No, that's what Crystal Dunn does best. She gets off her defender so well, times that perfectly, receives the ball's turns, and then once she separates from you, you're done for. You cannot catch her because she's so athletic.
It started with the ball won by the U.S. and then quickly, Crystal Dunn takes off.
But you see her head is up. She's looking to see if there's any other playing combinations. But you see that the United States are taking these shots, and they're taking their shots because there's no one in advance of that ball that they could probably play off of because the attack is happening so quickly. So can they slow it down a little bit and see what happens? See what happens if you swing around the back a little bit? Because, listen, they're going to win this game. That's not the question. The question is going to be how much. So what's another way that you can win this game? In a different measure, by performance, and that's by not taking what's given you and try to build what you're trying to become.
Mewis gets it back on the give and go. Tried the extra pass, blocked. Falls. Sent back by Johnson. Foul goes against the U.S. 2 players on yellow cards for the U.S., Julie Johnston and Tobin Heath. So we were told that we won't see them at all tonight. You don't want to take a chance coming in even as a sub and getting that second card. But for the semifinals, those single yellow cards are wiped out. So those players will be clear for Friday night. Sonnet holding there for the U.S. Pushing it across. Mewis. Krieger. Sonnet, back and forth they go. Sonnet, number 1 draft choice this year in the NWSL, should be playing in Portland with the Thorns. McCaffrey. First time we've seen her on this left side. Hinkle. Lloyd. Turning. Mewis. Front right for Kelly O'Hara. Trying to bring it inside. Finding the feet of press. Stops on the dime. Feeds it in. And the shot went wide. Still in play though. On battles there with McCaffrey, and it goes out.
Well, that's better because look at how many numbers were in advance of that ball that then could be prepared to get on the end of it when press got it end line and turned it. The ball comes in, does a little niff move to steps to the right, goes to the left, earns that space. And O'Hara from the right back. We were talking about her standing in a more advanced position, be more of a playmaker, getting into the attack. And that only happens because they had time and they were patient on the ball and built it up to get numbers forward. But you see now McCaffrey's on the left and Pugh should be on the right. There she is. And they're going to have free interchange to do that because Additionally, they're checking the versatility because you can't bring a ton of numbers to the Olympics, only 18. They're going to bring 3 center backs, 3 outside backs, 3 forwards, and everyone else is in the midfield. And what they need to do is everyone needs to be able to play more than one position. That's why Allie Krieger is playing center back right now, because she's also at right back. So this is also an opportunity not just to give new players some international exposure, it's to develop versatility in the players that they already know that most likely make the roster.
Carly Lloyd wide open by several yards. Played that one up on the wrong side of Pugh. Tucked inside from US. She'll continue her strong run. Fires the shot wide of a diving Gustafson.
Well, she's a tall player, but she's quite mobile for her size. No one is stepping to her. She's in shooting range. It's the right time to take that shot. She can play target forward, so she is capable of scoring in the final third. Just doesn't get the kind of strike that she wants on it.
Hit the half-hour mark. Is the game going the way you expected?
Well, I expect them to already be ahead by at least 2 at this point. But you can see they're trying to figure it out to me. I feel like you're seeing them grow a little bit. They're not forcing it as much, but it's so hard because it's what's there is just to run and gun and go. And that takes a lot of discipline to try to stick to the game plan and not just break this game down with the superior athleticism that they have, but combine and keep the ball, swing the point, get more numbers in the attack. It's hard to maintain that discipline.
It's not easy, is it? You've been in that situation.
Too many times.
Many lopsided games, right?
So it's brutal.
So you know.
It's absolutely brutal because you should make every single pass. At least you put that pressure on yourself. And if you don't, you're like, what's wrong with me? And it can affect your confidence. It's actually extreme. These games are harder to play in than the games that are really intense against an equally matched opponent.
U.S. into the middle for O'Hara. Got free of Johnson or not. Foul's called. Free kick. U.S. O'Hara plays for Sky Blue FC in the NWSL. Scored a terrific goal in the World Cup in the knockout stage.
You can hear Puerto Rico, Gustin trying to organize. That's critical for her teams to keep the score somewhat respectable. That local leadership is what she's known for. It's what she's good at. She's trying to make sure every single one of the defenders has a man mark to try to defend off this set piece.
Referee's coming over. Silvers. Make sure it's 10 yards back in terms of the wall. This one coming from about 30 yards or so away. 33rd minute, USA up 3-0. 2 goals by Dunn, 1 by Lloyd as Kelly O'Hara gets ready to strike. She'll launch that one up there. Lloyd was going for it, couldn't get up there for it. Kept in play apparently, or no? Flags up.
Flags up.
Will we see Alex Morgan tonight? That's a possibility. Tobin Heath, no, according to Jill Ellis, because of the yellow card. But part of it, I guess, depends on the score. And you also want to make sure that, especially with forwards, that they stay confident, right? So maybe an Alex Morgan, you might see her, even if the score's lopsided. You might. You
want your forward getting touches. You want them to stay in the groove that they got. She continues to get back to her 100% form. Regain her sharpness. Oh, collision.
Socorros was the player.
And Sonnet. Yeah, they both go into it. Socorros, the target player that's supposed to hold the ball up for them, leaves her feet and comes into Sonnet. I think Socorros is lucky she didn't get carded for that.
She scored 11 goals in qualifying to get to this stage. They were second to Trinidad and Tobago in Caribbean qualifying. That got them into this tournament. Krieger kept it on the ground, wanted press. It falls to Mewis. She gets it rolling. She tried to find McCaffrey, and instead Gustafson will slow things down.
That wasn't a bad idea at all. That's the kind of error that you want your team to make when you're trying to grow them into possessing into that shooting range. Instead of throwing things in the air, Wambach's not there anymore. So they'd like to keep it on the ground so they can find players that are so good with their feet, that they're better with their feet than they in the air.
Pugh just slipping by. Give and go towards Pugh. Goalkeeper's out. Made the play. It's still going to be a corner kick as Gustafson knocked it out. The time though, Dunn and Pugh are on the same page.
That's well done. Pugh continues her run. And that's a well-weighted pass by Crystal Dunn. Gustafson, the goalkeeper, did a good job to get in the middle of that attack.
Lloyd played it back for Hinkle. 36th minute. Switch there, brought down. O'Hara. McCaffrey. Played across. Sana needed a better touch. She was there.
Sana is still up because this has been redistributed off a corner kick. Look at her try to hold her run, sit in the gap between the two Puerto Rican players. A little stutter step, but doesn't time it quite right where she can get her hips turned around towards the goal.
Puerto Rico on it. Johnson on the far side. Ball was lost out, but it's a Puerto Rico throw-in for Ashley Johnson. She'll give it up to a teammate. So little possession here for Puerto Rico. So they're always defending. Sonnet holding there. Finds her central defense partner Krieger. Intercepted. Turn back, Rivera. Johnson. Deflected ball out for a USA throw-in. O'Hara got it in quickly. Krieger moving it for Sonnet. Hinkle was open if they wanted her. Instead, it's Lloyd coming back. Hinkle, Lloyd. One goal tonight so far for Carly Lloyd on that converted penalty kick. Throw-in for Puerto Rico. Trying to go up the sideline. Pugh got in the way of that. Pagan was there too. Lloyd takes over. Finds Viewis. McCaffrey angles her run. Now trying to go inside. And that's cut off. Fuel made the stop up for Ashley Johnson. Too far. Krieger got it to O'Hara. Ashley Johnson. Krieger just over the halfway line. Will push it back for Emily Sonnet. Carly Lloyd. Done. Sonnet. Side to side they go. Krieger. Pugh going forward. Toe poking it for Lloyd. Carly Lloyd. Is there a defender they're going to touch on it? Or did Lloyd send it in wide? In the 39th minute, U.S. was looking for their fourth goal.
Well, Carly Lloyd continues to run in. Pugh realizes she doesn't have the space and the time to get her shot prepared, so she dumps it off with a little bit of deception. That's well done by Mallory Pugh, seeing that's where the gap in the space was. That was the area to be the most dangerous, and unselfishly dumps onto Lloyd, who continued to run. Out of this first half, I think Mallory Pugh is showing signs that she gets it. Like, she gets, and she's not nervous because she's had a bit more exposure and she's young too, which I think it's sometimes easier when you're 17 or 18 or 20 and you come on the team.
No fear?
Yeah, you don't know anything yet. You have no idea what you're doing, really.
This is Pugh. Trying to push it forward for Dunn. In front. That's wide, but the flag's up. U.S. has talked about quicker ball movement. Are you seeing that in the first half?
I think I've seen moments of it and glimpses of it. You get to see that. Yeah, a little bit offsides. But still the right idea. I like how Dunn kind of stepped off and separated herself at an angle off her defender so she could run onto it and possibly cross it first time. Yeah, I've seen moments of it. You could see that they're trying to figure out, remember, these players haven't played together.
Yeah.
And then the lineup is completely different. So usually you only insert 1 or 2 new players, but because this is such a great opportunity, the U.S. took care of business, they're already qualified, it gives a chance to so many more players at one time. So there is a learning process to all of that and to each other, how to play with one another.
Foul goes against the United States. Only Lloyd, Dunn, and Krieger are in from the starting lineup that we've seen the previous 2 games, and Krieger's in a new spot. New in terms of starting the game. We've seen her, though, switch to that position earlier in the tournament and in previous U.S. games. Oh, this ball falls for Puerto Rico inside the USA box, and that's as close as they got to Alyssa Nair in the first half. Alyssa Nair fighting with Ashlyn Harris for backup spot to Hope Solo.
Bounces to Pagan. Hinkle loses her mark, and Pagan has the speed to go forward. She can penetrate. She can shoot from distance. Just a miss clear from Sonnet. Not able to get her foot on it. Hinkle, I mean, that's kind of just... That's not really her fault. That ball just bounced over her head because she wasn't quite touch tight and didn't expect that. But good recovery, but Pagan could have done better with that one.
Hinkle just shoots that one right at the goalkeeper, Gustafson. 42nd minute, 3-0 lead for the USA. 2 goals by Crystal Dunn. One in the middle of that by Carly Lloyd on a penalty kick that she converted. Mallory Pugh took the space, got a favorable deflection. She'll fire it, and that's over the bar. She's going to be going to UCLA next year.
She almost went the Lindsay Horan route and went professional to Portland in the NWSL and decided to go to college instead at UCLA. I think it's always a good decision to go to a place where you know you're going to play. So if you know you're going to play right in that pro team, you think you're going to learn the most then that's the right choice. If you're not sure and you're going to sit on the bench, that's what you need at a young age. You need playing time because that's only you're going to learn the game at a higher level.
Looking for the hat trick. Dunn comes in. It's blocked. Loose and sent in wide by Press.
Well, Crystal Dunn runs into the space, tries to touch it in between the gap. And good defending by Font. Gets something on it. And just a little bit rushed from Press. Had a bit more time than she realized. We've seen her score an amazing goal the first game. You know that she's got the quality and the technique to put those away. Just a bit rushed on that one.
Well, Puerto Rico can get out of this half only down 3-0. That's not as bad as maybe we even thought going into this.
No, they must be pretty happy. I mean, they haven't totally folded in this game. And there have been some bright spots. They have connected a little bit. They've attempted a shot or two. And remember, they're playing against people that they've idolized, that they've had on their walls. A lot of these have dual citizenship. So this is a big moment to play against your idols. And just coming out as hard as you can, you have to be happy and respect yourself for that.
Hinkle for the U.S. in the closing moments of this opening half. From Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas, home of FC Dallas of Major League Soccer. Nice cutback by Suarez. Rivera. Mendez. And the rest will take over in the final minute of the half. Hinkle will slow it down. Sonnet for Lloyd. She'll launch this one. Right sideline. 4 in the box for the U.S. Played in front. And there's O'Hara. 4-0 U.S. Nice touch from Kelly O'Hara.
Well, that starts with Carly Lloyd, and Kelly O'Hara, the outside back, decides to make an inside run because McCaffrey has the wide space, and O'Hara a little bit in front of the ball, but still is able to do a little back heel. Look at this well-weighted ball. It's back spinning, so it's not going to go out of bounds. It's going to dive right into McCaffrey's feet. And O'Hara, the converted forward at Stanford, recall, an outside mid in the World Cup. Now as an outside back, scores an excellent goal.
And you saw that replay before. She's calling for the ball. Showed McCaffrey where she wanted that ball to be played. So now it's 4-0. We're in the first minute of stoppage time. 1 minute expected here in added time.
That's the next evolution for these teams that are getting more organized defensively. The next step is man marking in the box. That's where so many of these goals come from, because they get stretched, but then they just lose the touch time.
Oh, look at that pass from Pugh to press, and it's knocked away. Loose for O'Hara. She'll send it in, and Lloyd missed it. Not sure how. But they almost gave up 2 goals in about a minute.
Yeah, Gustafson, the goalkeeper, is wanting this game to be over. She's cut out of position. A bit of a deflection off Font. Redirects the ball, so Carly Lloyd isn't able to get the head that she intended to get upon it. And I got to imagine that's the last we'll see probably of Carly Lloyd. You want to rest her legs going in the semifinal. Give her 45 minutes. Bring that veteran leadership in to start this half, and then bring in another veteran to take her leadership place.
That's it. It's the final whistle from this first half of play. All USA as we expected. We thought maybe the score would be even higher. It's only 4-0 right now for the U.S. O'Hara with that last goal. 2 goals by Crystal Dunn, and 1, of course, by the captain, Carly Lloyd. Halftime here on NBCSN. The USA leads Puerto Rico